to start out the night, somebody that I've known, I'm not going to say how many years because I don't want to give away her age, but we were both members of an organization called the Island Songwriters Showcase, a workshop group that still meets monthly at Five Towns College in Dix Hills. However, she's been at it long enough to have a daughter who is a full-fledged, full-time musician as well. That's Melanie Fink, aka Mel Funk, on the piano there. Please welcome, to start things off, Deborah Lynn.
I came into town with a knapsack on my shoulder and a pocket full of stories that I just had to tell. You know, I knocked around a bit. I had my share of small town glories. It's time to hit the city and that crazy carousel. I've been feeling sorry for myself. You know, I was only lonely like everybody else, until you brought your Sunday morning sunshine into my Monday morning rain. You taught me happiness just one time. It keeps on coming back again. These streets were never highways. I had not known the sky above. These days were never my days, for I had not known your love. It's funny how a city can put on a different face. When it holds the one you care for, it becomes a different place. And I've never felt so far from alone. Oh, baby, you brought me halfway home. Oh, babe, you brought me halfway home. You brought your Sunday morning sunshine. You brought your Sunday morning sun into my Monday morning rain. You taught me happiness just one. You taught me happiness just once. It keeps on coming back again and again and again. You brought your Sunday morning sunshine. You brought your Sunday morning sun into my Monday morning rain. You taught me happiness just one. You taught me happiness just once. It's on coming back again. Coming back again and again and again. Coming back again and again and again. Coming back again and again.
Deborah Lynn and Melanie Fink. By the way, Melanie's band was just signed to Joan Jett's record label, which is there. There are still record companies out there, and they're out and touring. So it's a wonderful night here. Who would have thought this morning that we have this kind of weather tonight. All of us were just hoping it wouldn't be pouring at, hoping just sprinkles, no thunderstorms. But that seems to happen as often as not here at this. So many times they've been predicting rain, passing showers, and somehow it seems to clear up. And just a little while ago, a guy who's making a documentary about Harry Chapin, who's here floating around, he might ask to interview you, asked me if I feel Harry's presence here. And I said, you know what? Every time they say it's going to rain and it clears up, I think that might be Harry at work. Thank you. Up next, we've got another friend of mine. I can call her a mentor, but that's not to imply anything about the age difference between us. She just started playing a harder than I did. She's a native of Great Neck, grew up here on the island. She makes the city her home now, but still comes out to Long Island to play quite a bit. But she's also played worldwide. She's played in Japan. She's played in the Caribbean. She actually was the first one to hook me up with a gig in Copenhagen, about 16 years ago. She's got several albums out. Her latest one is called Tears and Laughter, that took the #1 album, #1 artist, and #1 single on the folk DJ chart that came out. She's got several albums out of traditional songs from the viewpoints or about women. They're called Images of Women 1 and 2. She's a multi-instrumentalist. She used to teach at the Guitar Workshop, if anyone remembers that, back in Roslyn, back in the day. And I'm chewing up a little bit of time because she got stuck in traffic coming out from the city and didn't have time for a proper sound check. But if they're ready to go, it'll be a pleasure to introduce, accompanied by LORA KENDAL, who you'll see in Friends on the Journey in just a couple of acts. Ready? Robin Greenstein.
Hi, can you all hear the banjo? Yes? All right, good, good. LORA KENDAL on violin here. I can see myself, it's a golden sunrise. Young boy, open up your eyes. It's supposed to be your day. Now off you go, horizon bound, and you won't sleep until you found your own kind of way. And the wind will whip your tousled hair, the sun, the rain, sweet despair, great tales of love and strife. And somewhere on your glory, you will write your story of a love. And all towns that you walk through, and all the people that you talk to, they knew their songs. And there are times you change your stride, there are times you can't decide, still you go on. And the girls dance their gypsy tunes and share the secrets of the moon, and soon you take a wife. And though she sees your dreams go poorly, still she shares your story of a love. So you settle down and the children come and you find your place. Your wandering is done, and all your dreams of open spaces you see in your children's faces, one by one. And all the trips you know you've missed, and all the lips you never kissed, cuts through you like a knife. And now you feel field stretched out before thee, just another story of a... So what do you do now when she looks at you now? You know the same old jokes the jesters tell, you tell them to her now. And all the same old songs the minstrels sang, you sing them to her now. But it don't matter anyhow, 'cause she knows by now. So every chance you take, it don't mean a thing. What variations can you bring to this shop-worn melody? And every year goes by like a tolling bell. It's battered merchandise you sell. Not well, she can see. And though she's heard it all 1,000 times, couched in your attempted rhymes, she'll march to your drum and cry. But the question that goes up before me, what's your magic story of a lie? Well, sometimes words can be well, sometimes words can go to hell for all the good they do. And every dream that took me high, there's been a dream that's passed me by. I know it's so true, and I can see it clear out to the end, and I'll whisper to her now and again, because she shared my love. More than all the ghosts of glory, she's the only story. She's the only story of my life. Thank you. Laura Cat.
Robin Greenstein, ladies and gentlemen. You know, when I talk to the musicians about songs, encourage them, make them your own. Treat them as if you wrote, and we have some wonderful interpretations. I remember a couple of years ago asking Robin, do you think Story of a Life would sound good on banjo? I did, and she thought it was worth a try. So great. Thank you so much, Robin. Our next performer has an interesting story. He's a newcomer. We've got 3 newcomers in the show this year. And this is a guy I've been wanting to be able to invite in for a few years. You know, I never want to tell a former performer they can't. It's great when I have a chance to bring in somebody new. This gentleman grew up in South Africa under apartheid, but he loved the music of the black musicians that he saw. Some of you might have heard some black South African music if you're a fan of Paul Simon and picked up the GREENSTEIN album, which came out, gosh, over 25 years ago now. He grew up listening to that music, loving it, hated it. At the age of 18, he moved out of South Africa. He first moved to Israel and eventually came to Long Island. And he lives in Huntington now. He's created a show, which you might be able to find at local libraries, called Journey from Johannesburg. And it's really worth checking out. He's a fine songwriter. He's being accompanied by our stage mom for the evening, Edison, New Jersey's Mara Levine, who is a touring folk performer and arranger and singer and song collector. And you might recognize the lady all the way to my right as a member of my band Gathering Time. Her name is Hillary Fox Song. So they're doing a story. I like keeping these songs up front, Story of a Life and Remember When the Music, because I think they kind of set the stage for the whole theme of the night. So I'm glad to have them in, glad to have playing this song, Toby Tobias. Thank you very much.
Remember when the music came from wooden boxes strung with silver wire? And as we sang the words, it set our minds on fire, for we believed in things. And so we remember when the music brought us all together to stand inside the rain. And as we join our hands, meet in the refrain, for we had dreams to live, we had hopes to give. Remember when the music was the best of we dreamed of for our children's life. And as we sang, we worked, for the time was just a line. It was a gift we saved, the gift the future gave. Remember when the music was a rock that we could cling to, so we would despair. And as we sang, we knew we'd hear an echo fill the air. We'd be smiling again, smile again. And all the times I've listened, and all the times I've heard, no melodies I'm missing, and all the magic words, all those potent voices, the choices we had then. How I'd love to find we had that kind of choice again. Remember when the music was a glow on the horizon of every newborn day. And as we sang, the sun came up to chase the dark away. And life was good, for we knew we could. Remember when the music brought the night across the valley as the day went down. And as we'd hum the melody, we'd be safe inside the sound. And so we'd sleep, we had dreams to keep. And I dreamed that something's coming. It's not just the wind, it's more than just tomorrow. It's more than it offers me a promise. It's telling me begin. I know we're needing something worth believing in. Remember when the music came from wooden boxes strung with silver wire? And as we sang the words, it set our minds on fire, for we believed in things. So we'd sing. Thank you so much.
Toby Tobias again with Hillary Fox song and Mara Levine. Mara, by the way, I mentioned is our stage mom. She's in charge of wrangling all these acts into order. You know, people like to watch the show as well, or wander or practice a little bit, run through things backstage, and she's the one in charge of telling everybody, "Hey, you're on next. Come." That song in particular, I always liked, and it seems especially pertinent now because we just seem to be entering an age of incivility in America, and it kind of breaks my heart because so many people are so nice at heart, and somehow it seems to be breaking down. And music, Harry's music, folk music in general, can be a little bit idealistic, and that's a good thing. It may strive for things that we may never be able to. Jesus sort of says, yeah, we can try to be this good. That song means a lot to me. Next up, we have a trio called Friends on the Journey. Now, the guy in the middle is named Vin Creasy. He and I also go back to that songwriters group. I won't worry about exposing his age. We met in the mid-1990s, so we're talking about 23, 24 years ago now. He doesn't look it. He's a retired music teacher. That's a clue. Accompanying him are two other local folk musicians, Suzanne Ernst to his left, LORA Kendall to his right, whom you just saw a moment ago. And if you guys are ready to go, let's bring on one of Harry's best storytelling songs, a real ballad in the true sense of the word, Corey's Coming. Please welcome Friends on the Journey.
Thank you. Joseph was a man with two first names. They left him in the railroad yard when they took away the trains. Only one run a week comes on roaring down, so all he's got to worry about is time. He sits in the brick house, his hands out to the fire, moving through his memories of desire, telling me the stories of the glories of his past. But he always says the story that is Corey for the last. And he says now Corey's coming, no more sad stories coming, no midnight moonlight morning glory's coming, aren't you, girl? I told you, when she holds you, she enfolds you in her world. I come by in the evening just to find that he's been. He said, "Mom, sit down, kid, where shall I begin?" And I could say, you know my favorite, though you know I love the rest, but I love the way you tell me of your Corey the best.
So I'd hear his lifelong love recreated by his tongue.
He turned back the years she'd seen for
Though the other stories change as they roll through his head,
he'd say the same words about Corey each time he went to bed. And he said, my Corey's coming, Corey's coming, no more sad stories coming, my midnight moonlight morning glory's coming, aren't you, girl? And like I told you, when she holds you, she enfolds you in her world. I was surprised to find out all the places he knew, and so I asked the townsfolk if his stories were true. They said, old John was born, he's lived here all his life, he's never had a woman, let alone a wife.
very soon you'll find out as you check around.
No one named Corey's ever lived in this town.
So I tried to the old man about the story I had heard.
He smiled and said, reality is only just a word. And he said, my Corey's coming. No more sad stories coming. Midnight, moonlight, morning glory's coming, aren't you, girl? And like I told you, when she holds you, she involves you, you know. I came by one evening, but he didn't hear my shout. I looked in the window and I saw the fire was out. When he wouldn't wake up, I forced in the door and saw that old John Joseph would tell stories no more. There was a scene at the graveyard, just the three of us were there. It was me and the grave digger, and we heard the parson's prayer. He said, we need not grieve for this man, for we know that God put the cold dirt on him and left me on my own. When at last I looked up, I saw I was not alone. Standing there in silence with a shawl around her head was a beautiful young woman. I remember what she said. Is that John Joseph there? Nodded my head, yes. That brought a soft smile from her. She said it's time he got some rest. Said if you're a relative, he had a peaceful end. That's when she said, my name is Corey. You can say I'm just a friend.
Corey's coming. No more sad stories coming. My midnight, moonlight, morning glories coming, aren't you, girl? And like I told you, when she holds you, she enfolds you in her world. So that's the old man's story. I'm glad you came tonight. I busted down old railroad yard, sure the lonely side. Really wonder why a young man would work out here alone. Well, the job pays enough to keep some flesh on my bones. I confess I get to missing that old man a bit. There's just one more reason I guess I should admit. Don't you see my Corey's coming? Corey's coming. No sad stories coming. Midnight, moonlight, morning glory's coming. Aren't you, girl? And like I told him, when she holds me, she infolds me in her world. Thank you.
Friends on the friends on the journey, ladies and gentlemen. I've got actually a lot of organizations I need to say thanks to. I'm going to start out with WHLI, Connoisseur Media, the wise man who you might have heard had me on this morning. They've helped us publicize this show for the last 4 or 5 years, and it's had a huge impact. We really appreciate that, and I appreciate they're keeping the music from my youth alive. There's a guy there named Stu Schrager, one of their sales representatives, who has been my primary contact, and he also arranges the backstage catering. A lot of these musicians have day jobs or teach or do nursing home gigs or things like that during the day. They come here, they don't have time for dinner. Mary's Pizza and Pasta in Wantagh for the last 4 or 5 years has contributed pizza and pasta and salad backstage. If you happen to stop, please thank them for all of us. By the way, we usually have a guy who's sort of the photographer to the phone named Robert Berkowitz, who usually shoots from the pit down here. His back went out on him today, so he can't. I want to say thanks to him anyways for all the years. But if anybody else wants to take cell phone photos and tag us up to Facebook or Twitter or whatever, you're certainly welcome to do that. We're creating a hashtag, tag Chapin Stock. So if you want to tweet out photos or anything like that, and the names of the performers are in the program, so you can tag them if you know them. Are we ready to go? Next up, a guy I've been wanting to get into the show for a few years. He's always been busy because he's one of the harder musicians on Long Island. He lives in Floral Park. He's an artist as well as musician. He has a monthly gig at Swing the Teapot in Floral Park, known for playing covers, but a songwriter in his own right, accompanied by John Cordone on bass. Please welcome Mike Barry.
Why do little girls forget when the little boys are small? Boys talk to tumble, girls have to fall. Girls answer the telephone, while the boys answer the call. While the little girls forget, while the little boys talk. The little girls while the little boys boys told to come of age while the girls came along. Boys learned on harmonies while the boys were singing songs. The little girls were big while the little boys were strong. While the little girls come broken when the little boys came home. Boys were saying, while the girls stand there cold. Little boys don't hold themselves to be just who they are. And the little girls were broken playing by the rules. My world, the little girls made frightened just to be just what they are. The boys ask themselves how high, how far. Throw the gold to reach the shelf. The boys are reaching stars. That's why little girls were frightened to be just they are. Still they more they're carried our seed when they need for the cry, and they fed our children when the night they cry. Won't care as mankind dies. little girls left when the boys left them in the moonlight. When the boys would meet the sun, the little girls were open, the little boys were gone. While the little girls were hurting, the little boys were gone. Yeah, the little girls go crooked and the little boys go tall. Maybe it's just 'cause the little boys never had to grow up at all. Where are the little girls? Oh, where are the little girls? Where are the little girls?
Oops. Mike Berry and John Cordone, ladies and gentlemen. Oops. One of the fun things about this show is getting to play with some of my close friends here. One of the things I really like about the show is that somebody might be singing lead or leading a band in one song, or a part of a set band doing one, and then sort of a backing musician on a pickup basis on another one. It's a great community of musicians, and one of the things I like is the chance that people have to hang out backstage. When so many of us are performers playing regularly, it's not too often we get to see each other's shows. So to my far right is probably the biggest Harry Chapin fan in the show, if not on Long Island. He was here on that awful night 37 years ago, but one of the hardest working musicians also on the island. Just recovering from a bit of minor toe surgery, so if you see him hobbling a little bit, it makes him look older than he really is. He's actually only 36, maybe a little older. But singing lead on this song is a woman I've been friendly with for, gosh, close to 20 years now, or I shouldn't say that.
No, I was just a fetus.
That's right. I was there at her birth, yes. Not literally, but I remember it well. But she's a very, well, actually, she's the best prepared performer here because she actually wrote out an introduction for herself, but she's got a lot of things to mention. Patricia Shee is a nationally acclaimed singer and award-winning songwriter and recording artist, filmmaker now, and author from Huntington. She tours the U.S. for audiences of all ages, has appeared on radio and TV as a daily performer on Cablevision's Tell Me a Story. She appeared with such luminaries as Pete Seeger, Peter Yarrow of Peter, Paul and Mary, Bonnie Raitt, Richie Havens, Emmylou Harris, Tom Chapin, and Odetta, among others. Numerous artists throughout the country sing and record her songs. Peter Yarrow has said that Patricia Shee is an absolutely delightful performer. Her songs and her voice are true from her heart. She has 9 CDs, wow, 2 books about music, and tonight, well, we said we are accompanied by, including Mel Funk, this time on drums, and me. Please welcome, well known as a children's performer doing a particularly appropriate song, Patricia Shee.
Colors was what he saw. The teacher said, "What you doing, young man?" "I paint flowers," he said. "It's not the time for art, young man, and anyway, flowers are green and red. There's a time to show everything, young man, and a way it should be done. You have to show things for everyone else, for you're not the only one." And she said, "Flowers are red, young man, green leaves are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than the way they always have been seen. Little boy said, there's so many colors in the rainbow, so many colors in the morning sun, so many colors in the flower, and I see everyone. The teacher said, you're sassy, as big as a bee should be, and you paint flowers the way they are, so they paint after me. And she said, flowers are a young man, and greens are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than the way they always have been seen. But the little boy said, there are so many colors in the rainbow, so many colors in the morning sun, so many colors in the flower, and I see everyone. The teacher put him in the corner. She said, it's for your own good, and you won't come out till you get it right, and are responding like you should. Well, finally he got lonely, and thoughts filled his head, and he went up to the teacher, and this is what he said. Flowers are red, and green leaves are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than the way they always have been seen. Well, time went by like it always does, and they moved to another town. And the little boy went to another school, and this is what he found. The teacher there was smiling. She said, painting should be fun. So many colors in the rainbow, so let's use everyone. But the little boy painted flowers in neat rows of green and red. And when the teacher asked him why, this is what he said. He said, flowers are red, and green leaves are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than the way they always have been seen. But there still must be a way to have our children say, there's so many colors in the rainbow, so many colors in the morning sun, so many colors in the flower, and I see everyone. Stuart Marcus, Frank Walker, Mel Funk. Thank you.
Patricia Shee, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to keep Frank up here for a minute, but I'm going to introduce the author of a book that just signed a publishing deal called Harry Chapin's America. Please welcome up Pat Fenton.
Thank you, Stu. Thank you very much. Hey, good evening, Long Island. How are you tonight? My name is Patrick Fenton, as Stu said, and for many years now, I've been working on a book on Harry Chapin, which will be released this spring. I've traveled all across parts of America, what I was doing, basically doing a lot of research, interviewing people to find the real people behind the Harry Chapin songs. You know, Harry Chapin was kind of like a hip Norman Rockwell in a way. He based a lot of that music, as you know, on real people. And I got to meet many of them. The book is called Searching for Harry Chapin's America. Remember When the Music. Will be released this spring by Heliotrope Books in New York. Now, the idea was to travel across America to some of the states where songs take place. I wondered how many of them were based on real places and people. As it turned out, many of them were. One of the people I interviewed in the chapter was the real Mr. Tanner, Martin Tubridy, from the poignant song Mr. Tanner. He lives up in Connecticut now, and he was very great. There were also personal interviews in it that I did with people who knew Harry and people who were on that last night. They were out east in Long Island at a last party, a pre-concert party, members of people like Paul Gomez. And at that same time, they were waiting for Harry to show up as crowded Eisenhower Park was loaded with a crowd waiting for Harry to show up. Something happened to the face of America that Harry Chapin seen, something that should make the next generation pay attention to the past. It matters. And Harry Chapin, like the writers Sherwin Anderson and Thornton Wilder with his town, caught all of that America in every songs forever. I drove over 2,000 miles looking for it. I passed old cemeteries up on hills, the ends of towns with quarter moons hanging over them, farmers herding cows across two-lane blacktops driven past bowling alleys that people out here in the country think about. Saturday, they go to bowling alleys on Saturday nights for fun. All of it like something out of a Sunday morning comic strip of the 50s. All of it in Harry's songs. Bingo Parlor America, Holiday Inn America, Dairy Queen America, Pabst Blue Ribbon America. It's all Harry Chapin's America. A little banged up, a little worse for wear lately, but there are signs that there's still a lot of it out there. I saw it. And one of the people I interviewed, Mr. Martin Tubridy, was a gracious man who is one of the real people. So tonight, you have the pleasure of hearing the great Frank Walker and Robin Eve. Mr. Tanner.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. Tanner was a cleaner from a town in the Midwest, and of all the cleaning shops around, he made his the best. But he also was a baritone who sang while hanging clothes. He practiced scales while pressing tails and sang at local shows. His friends and neighbors praised the voice that poured out from his throat. They said that he should use his gift instead of cleaning coats. Oh, fall on your but music was life, was not his livelihood, and it made him feel so happy, and it made him feel so good, and he sang from his heart, he sang from his soul. He did not know how well he sang, it just made him whole. His friends kept working on him to try music out full time. Big debut with rave reviews, a great career to climb. Finally they got to him, and he would take the fling. A concert agent in New York agreed to have him sing. And there were plane tickets, phone calls, money spent to rent the hall, and it took most of his savings, but he gladly used them all.
Oh, fall on your
His music was his
knees.
life, was not his livelihood, and it made him feel so happy, and it made him feel so good, and he sang from his heart, he sang from his soul. He did not know how well he sang, it just made him whole. The evening came, he took the stage, his face set in a smile, and a half-filled critic sat watching on the aisle. The concert was a blur to him, spatters of applause. He did not know how well he sang, he only heard the flaws. But the critics were concise, it only took 4 lines, and no one could accuse them of being overkind. Mr. Martin Tanner, baritone of Dayton, Ohio, made his town hall debut last night. He came well prepared, but unfortunately his presentation was not up to contemporary professional standards. His voice lacked the range of tonal color necessary to make it consistently interesting. Full-time consideration of another endeavor might be in order. He went home to Dayton and was questioned by his friends. He smiled and just said nothing. He never sang again. Never sang again, excepting very late at night when the shop was dark and closed. He sang softly to himself as he sorted through the clothes. Fall on your knees. Music was his life. Oh, he not his livelihood. Oh, hear the and it made him feel so happy. It made him feel so good, and he sang from his heart. Oh, and he sang from his soul, and he did not know how well he sang. Oh, it just made him whole.
Thank you, Eve and Frank Walker. Frank's been such an inordinate help through all the years we've been doing the show in so many ways. And Robin, I really have to say, whoops. Robin has become such a great friend, and I met her through the show. That's been a personal benefit. Frank, by the way, was born with a congenital condition that's called by the rather odd name prune belly syndrome. It's when the musculature his abdomen doesn't pop, and it leaves them very vulnerable to injury, and babies like that often die. He was saved by some surgery when he was young by a very creative surgeon, and he's chairman of an organization called prunebelly.org that raises money and helps research and helps create awareness of this type of surgery being available. So check it out if you have a chance to online. As soon as you stop ringing, I'm going to invite another friend now. There are many creative types in this show. Christine Solomino is known, she usually plays piano when she appears on this, and she's a great piano player, also a professional drummer, but she started playing guitar, what, 4 or 5 years ago, and said, I'd like to be in the show, but I want to play guitar this time. But she's doing a song that she knows well, and accompanying her this time on piano is Sid Cherry, back there on piano. He'll be doing a song of his own again very soon. Vicky Liotta on drums, she's with Metacron, they're up next. And Sue Cohen Rosen from Grand Folk Railroad, also it's a kind of hodgepodge group we've got here on the stage. Take it, Christine Solomino.
I've sung it all tonight. Almost every story that I know. But when they turn out the spotlight, I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go. And I'm so hoarse I can't hit the high notes. It's a whisper when I'm low. But when you sing from the inside, you hope that something shows. The only song I need. You're my laughter and you're my only song. You're the harvest and you're the seed. And you're first, my final song. You want me indeed. And yes, oh yes, after all is said and done, you're the one song that I need. Oh, I've sung my songs in silence to empty clubs and crowded bars. I've sung my songs to standing rooms. I've even sung up to the stars. But the faces, they fade together, and the applause is gone so fast. And the story of every darkest day is that the glory, it does not last. But that is why, yes, you are the only song, the only song I need. Oh, my laughter indeed. Oh yes, yes, and all is said and done. You're the one song that I somewhere over the rainbow.
Christine Solomino, thank you so much. Thank you. That was, I love listening to her sing. Thank you. If you see her playing, if you see any of these musicians playing around at a local pub or restaurant or a bar, a place on the beach, and you recognize them from here, walk over and tell them you saw them here. They'll appreciate it. We really do. It's a thrill to play here on a stage like this. By the way, if you notice the gentleman that I handed off the bass to twice in the last 3 performers, that's the president of the Folk Music Society of Huntington. His name is Michael Kornfeld. He's been our president for about 7 or 8 years now. I serve on the board. It's an organization dedicated to the support of touring and local songwriters, singer-songwriters, and traditional folk musicians. Actually, Harry was a member, and this coming weekend, next Sunday, the fight in conjunction with the Huntington Arts Council, on which both Harry and Sandy served on the board, will be presenting the annual Huntington Folk Festival. The headliner for the night will be Tom Rush. There'll be a lot of folk musicians showcasing during the afternoon. Actually, it's going to be a 3-day folk Americana weekend, which Gathering Time will be participating in. Mike will tell you about that later. Are we ready to go with the final act of the set? Okay, I'll keep talking, get a few more thank yous in. And the hashtag, yes, hashtag Chapin Stock if you take photos and want to post them. Michael Levine also, by the way, is a professional public relations man, and he helped us publicize this show, so a big thank you to him. If you saw it in any local papers, Good Times Magazine, Newsday, or any place else like that, he had a hand in it. Special thanks to Mike Grayab of the Harry Chapin Foundation. Mike is streaming this live on the Harry Chapin Foundation's Facebook page. You can look it up. Usually he posts these things to YouTube also, and he's been an inordinate help to me. Are we ready yet? Okay. Please welcome, playing most appropriately, The Rock, Eddie Havoc, and Media Crime.
And the song just gets more relevant all the time. The rock is gonna fall us. He walked with a star, ran on to his mother, the fear dark in his heart, and he told her of the vision that he was sure he'd seen. She said, go to sleep, son, you're having a bad dream. And she said, everybody knows the rock and roll all the town. Everybody knows that it won't tumble to the ground. Remember Chicken Little till the sky is falling down. Well, nothing ever came of that. The world still turns around. Yes, it does. The rock is gonna fall us. He rose for the class. The rest of food is dropped down. Stand out to his glass. Yes, that's a high uphill. If it doesn't fall to him, then very soon it will. That man said, everybody knows the rock can't go all the town. Everybody knows that it won't tumble to the ground. More important study than your fantasies and fears. Don't you know that rock's been perfect for 100,000 years? And it ain't going nowhere. The rock is full of bonds, he told the magistrate. Said you know it's coming soon, but it's still not too late. See, after all the research, the plans were all complete. He was showing them contingencies with a show him near the street. And they said, everybody knows the rock ain't go over town. Everybody knows that it won't tumble to the ground. Everybody knows those who say the end is near. But don't you know that that's no longer usual around here? Let's show you how it does it. But there was no one else. Spent the stage devising ways to stop the rock himself. He went off on them out to sideline stone. They knew he was insane, so they left him all alone. One night he was up there, building props up on the ledge. The ground began to rumble, the rock tumbled off the edge. Oh, look at the rocket for the fallen, rocking all that crust. Indeed, the rock was moving, crumbling on the dust. He went up to it one last time to try and drop. And as it disappeared, the rock seemed to stop. The people ran into the street, but by then all was still. The rock seemed where it always was, where it always will be. When people asked where he'd gone, they said, he was daft. Forget about that crazy fool that started. One high upon the mountain, where the wind is hitting it. If you look a little closer, the rock slipped a little bit. Inch by inch, yard by yard. Thank you.
Media crime, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, that instrument over there being played by the keyboardist, that theremin. If you were a fan of the Beach Boys and knew the song Good Vibrations, that's what that was also. We're running a little bit behind schedule. We're going to dispense with intermission. We do encourage you to go up and help yourself to a snack or pay for a snack up there. You'll be the music just fine, but we're going to set up the next group here. And usually I have permission right after media crime because no one's as loud as they are. But the group that's going to follow them certainly is capable of it. You've seen some of their musicians being borrowed for other acts. That's kind of the way this show works. To say some more thank yous, well, first to the technical crew here. This is probably the technically most complex show they do the entire season. It's quite a season they put on here between Eisenhower and the other county parks. This is the only one that has 17 total acts in it. And they do a great job, and they've got it so down to a science now. It's a pleasure. So big hand to Paul and all the crew there. And of course, thanks to Paul Pachter, Long Island Cares, and the Harry Chapin Food Bank. They've come here. They help us publicize the show, helped me find direction for it early on, and they're doing us so much good. I think over the 15 years total we've been doing this show, we've collected around 7 tons of food, which sounds like a lot, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to the need. Are we ready to go? Okay. Well, thanks once again to the Folk Music Society of Huntington, my fellow board members there. It means a lot that they get in on this show. And if we're ready, a band whose name has been confused with that of a 70s folk rock band. That's not them, but One Time Newsday said it was, just because their autocorrect is that sophisticated. Please welcome Grand Folk Railroad.
Hello, honey, it's me. What did you think when you heard me back on the radio? And what did the kids say when they heard it was their long-lost daddy? Oh, I never went to listen to the radio, and I said that's the place. A job as an FM jock on the day you married me. Well, it was 2 kids and I was into AM rock, but I just had to run around. It's been 8 years since I left your babe. Let me down what's gone down. I am the morning DJ. Playing all the hits for you, wherever you may be. The light good morning voice who's heard but never seen. Feeling all of 45, going on 50. The drinking I did at my last big gig, well, it made my voice scream. They said they wanted a younger sound when they let me go. So I drifted on down to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to do me a late night talk show. Then I made my way back home again here to Boise, Idaho. That's how this business goes. I am the morning DJ at WOLD, playing all the hits for you, wherever you may be. The bright good morning voice who's heard but never seen. Feeling all of 45, going on 50. I'm making extra money playing high school sock pops on the big time guest MC. You could hear me talking to the little children and listen what they say to me. Got a smile on the top of my head, just begging for a bit to pay. There's a tire on my butt from sitting on my butt, but it's never gonna go away. Sometimes I get this crazy dream that I just take off in my car
But you can travel 10,000 miles and still stay where you are. I'm thinking that I should stop this jocking and start that record store. Maybe I could settle down if you take me back once more. Okay, honey, I see. I guess he's better than me. Sure, old girl, I understand. You don't have to worry, I'm such a happy man.
W-O-L-D, 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 W-O-L-D.
I am the morning DJ at WOLD, playing all the hits for you, wherever you may be. The bright good morning voice who's heard but never seen, feeling all the 45 going on to me. I am the morning DJ at WOLD, WOLD,
Grand Folk Railroad, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, Mike, the bass player there, has a guitar shop in Brightwaters. He's a fine guitar if you need to. Next up, I'm going to bring up somebody I've been wanting to work into the show. Are we on? Check. We need Mike here. Not on? Hello. Test, test. 1, 2. Test. I can't say anything. It's a wired mic. I know. There we go. Thank you. Just after I praised them for the lack of technical glitches. Come on out, Robinson, while I introduce you. Another newcomer to the show. A guy who's been building a reputation and making quite a splash on the Northeast regional touring folk scene. He lives in Oceanside, and I've been wanting to get him to the show for a few years. I had him originally set up to do Mail Order Annie, which is one of my favorite songs, but he emailed me just last week. It was too late to change it in the program, but he said, Stu, I fell in love with the song Empty. So he's going to do that one. Winner of the 2018 Independent Music Award for Best Roots/Folk/Americana EP called Born. Please welcome up Robinson Treacher.
Hello! Look at that beautiful moon. Look at that beautiful star out there. So I was going to do Mail Order Annie and decided to do Empty, which this crowd is not tonight. And thank you so much for that. Oh. So, Harry. Well, I really can't believe in thought of you just leaving, 'cause we're all here, even though you're gone. Empty closet, empty heart, empty morning, gave us the start. Well, I got no place to go now. I really do not know how I like my life now that you're gone. Empty mailbox, an empty head, empty promise in an empty bed. Well, I really can't believe it, the thought of you just leaving, 'cause I know one's here, even though you're gone. I guess I took you for granted. I thought of you as one, but now the joke's on me. Oh, you're half of me just took up with the sun. Empty pocket, an empty day, got an empty feeling that won't go away. Well, I never meant you, don't ever desert you, 'cause there's no one here. Even though you're gone, I guess I took you for granted. I thought of us as one, but now the laugh's on me, 'cause you're half of me just took off with the sun. Got an empty closet, got an empty heart. In the morning, 'cause this day won't start. Well, I don't got much to know now. I know where to go now, 'cause I like my life. Even though you're got an empty icebox, got an empty head, got an empty morning in this empty bed. There's nothing in my icebox, there's nothing in my heart. Yeah, feeling kinda lonely, 'cause this day won't stop. Yeah, you packed your bags, yeah, you let me be. My baby, 'cause you got to be free. Yeah, I'm keeping on moving, oh, moving. Bye, 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 baby. There's nothing left, there's nothing left for me. Thank you, guys.
That was Robinson Treacher. Good evening. I'm Michael Kornfeld. I'm president of the Folk Music Society of Huntington, as well as the North Regional Folk Alliance, NERFA. And it is my pleasure to introduce a wonderful folk harmony trio who have had a number of songs and albums on the International Folk DJ radio charts, and also had several coveted juried showcases at our annual NERFA conference. They have been featured performers at the South Florida Folk Festival, recently at the Woodstock Folk Festival in Woodstock, Illinois, and a few years ago were voted most wanted to return artists at the Falcon Ridge Folk Festival. Earlier this year, they did their first European tour and are building a fan base in Ireland and Germany. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Gathering Time.
Sure.
And as soon as we have a mic for the mandolin so y'all can hear it. Our crew are really doing a good job. I do not wish to cast aspersions on the crew.
Yeah, this is a technically very, very tough show. However, since we have a moment, I will say that we'll be playing at Heckscher Park in Huntington Friday night, along with our friend Kirsten Maxwell.
It was raining hard in Frisco. I needed one more fare to make my night. Lady up ahead, wait to flag me down. She got in at the light.
Away going to my lady blue. It's a shame you ruined your gown in the rain. She just looked out the window and said, 16 pops sudden.
Something about her was familiar. I could swear I'd seen her face before. I'm sure mistaken, and she didn't say anything more.
It took a while, but she looked in the mirror and she glanced at the license for my name. A smile came to her slowly. It was a sad smile just the same.
And she said, how are you, Harry? I said, how are you, Sue? Through the 2 million miles and the 2 little smiles, I still remember you.
Oh, it was somewhere in a fairy tale. You could take home in my car. Learned about in the back of the time. Lesson hadn't gone too far.
She's gonna be an actress. I was gonna learn to fly. She took off and the flights, took off to find the sky. Oh, I've got something inside me to drive a princess. There's a wild man wizard, he's hiding in me, illuminating my mind. Oh, I've got something inside me, now but my life's about. Was I've been letting my outside tide me over till my time runs out.
She's smiling, yes, she's smiling, afraid to fall. I tell you, baby's crying, yes, she's smiling, aren't we all?
Not much more for us to talk about. Whatever we had once was gone. I chucked my head into the driveway, past the gates and the fine trim lawn.
And she said, we must get together, though I knew it'd never be arranged. And she gave me $20 for a $2.50 fare and said,
Harry, keep the change.
Well, another man might have been angry, and another man might have been hurt. Another man never would have let her go.
That's the bill of my shirt. And she walked away in silence. Strange how you never know. We both got what we asked for such a long, long time ago.
You see, she was gonna be an actress, I was gonna learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights, I took off for the sky. And here she's acting happy inside her handsome home. And me, I'm flying in my taxi, taking tips and getting stoned.
Everybody,
I go flying so high, and I'm stoned.
thank you. Now I go back to my other job. Thank you. Thank you so much. I get chills doing that song. Coming up next, we've got young women who literally were not born yet when Harry passed away. But they're both up-and-coming talents on the local folk scene. One of them just had a showcase at the Northeast Regional Folk Alliance Conference, an official showcase last year. We have written intros. So the names are Christine Sweeney and Karen. Last year, Christine Sweeney had an honorable as an emerging artist at the Falcon Ridge Folk Festival. That's an event that occurs. It'll be coming up again in 2 weeks, the first weekend of August. Had a semi-formal showcase at NERFA. She's a blues pop recording artist, and his two releases are available on iTunes and Spotify with a new EP coming. For more information, visit christinesweeney.com. Karen Bella is a New York native singer-songwriter performing throughout Long Island and New York City. She studied opera and jazz at Five Towns College, released an album called Ordinary Girl on iTunes in 2013, and is currently working on an upcoming EP. For more information, go to KarenBella.com. Teaming up, please welcome Christine Sweeney and Karen Bella.
Thank you, Stu. Saturday morning and it's growing light. Look at my window, remembering night. The story is starting and this story ends, and I feel like I need you again. Time used to move softly when I was at home. You went on without me and left me alone. I would sit at my shoulder, glance at my head, and I feel like I need you again. Song needs a reason and right. Love needs a little more time. Remember September and leaves turning brown. Remember October, left leaves on the ground. And here comes December like an elderly fan, and I feel like I need you again. Ooh, a song needs a reason and rhyme. Ooh, love needs a little more time. Ooh, a song needs a reason and rhyme. Ooh, love needs a little more time. Thank you.
Karen Bell and Christine Sweeney. Great job, guys. Great job. And they didn't have time to sound check. They were both coming from other places. Next up, we have a gentleman who's been playing on the folk scene for a while. He said, you have to read the first line, so I'll say it. It says, Jerry would like to thank Stu for inviting him back to play again this year. He really appreciates it. You know what? I appreciate you coming out to play. I appreciate all the musicians who come here and play. I love doing this show every year. I never thought we'd be doing it for 15 years in a row, but I love hearing these people play. So Jerry DeMeo, you can catch him doing shows by the ocean in the summer and in Florida in winter. He's, well, he's an investment portfolio manager, so I guess he can do that. You can listen to his original music on Pandora, on the station called Jerry DeMeo Radio, and pick up his latest CD, which is called Headin' East, Headin' West, at your favorite music distribution site. Please welcome a guy actually known as a very good blues player. As soon as he's ready to go, he forgot his quarter-inch cable. Ha, ha, ha. Well, that gives me a chance to get in another word of thanks to County Executive Laura Kern and the whole park staff here, the Parks and Recreation Department, Parks, Recreation, and Museums. This is a wonderful night. We appreciate them letting us do this. Are you ready there now, lad? Well, as soon as he gets plugged in and the channel is open, please welcome Jerry DeMeo. Fairly close.
A little more moderate.
The kid heard the word up in Brooklyn. It was his second year of medical school. He went and stashed some G-Rock case. His father said, "Son, you're a fool." But the boy jumped onto a Greyhound bus. It took him 2 days to get to Mobile. And it took him 2 weeks to track the old man down. It never doubted that the rumor was was real. But the old man stood in the storefront with his white cane hanging from his belt. He was bending the strings of his guitar. You thought those strings will. He was last of the singers, final word of the blues, and then the voice in his throat was like a bullfrog croak. It was he who invented the blues. To play the blues, boys, you gotta live 'em, got your dues, boys. You gotta give 'em, gotta start real sweet, like slow blues rhythm, like a heartbeat. Always with them when you're married to the blues, boys. Your guitar is your wife, like that fine old woman you've been faithful to all of your life. Well, the kid walked up as the blind man finished. He then put his guitar away. The old man heard him and said, "Who are you?" "I'm the kid that you're gonna teach to play." And the old man laughed, but the kid kept talking about how he'd help him get around. That's when the old man said, "I don't need no fool to get me where I'm hellbound." To play the blues, boys, you gotta live and got your dues, boys. Gotta give and gotta start real sweet, like slow blues rhythm, like a heartbeat. Always be with them when you're married to the blues, boys. Your guitar is your wife, like that fine old woman we've been faithful to all of your life. Play the blues, boy. You gotta live and got your dues, boy. Gotta give and gotta start real sweet, like a slow blue rhythm, like a heartbeat. You're all with them when you're married to the blues, boy. Your guitar is your wife. It's like that fine, fine old woman you've been faithful to all of your life. All of your life, all of your life, all of your. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Mayo, ladies and gentlemen, blues man. By the way, we're losing a loyal member of the cast this year. The song Mr. Tanner has been done almost every year by a guy named Josh Joffin, who's off on the stage there. He's moving to South Carolina. He thought he was going to be moving this week. Things got delayed, so he couldn't commit to the show, but he is here tonight. He's going to join us for Circle at the end, and I want to acknowledge him. He's out there. Come on up and take a bow for us. If not, I'll point him out later. But next up, we have a Richard Rodgers Award-winning composer and lyricist who moved to Long Island after living and working in New York City for 15 years as a musician and musical director on and off Broadway. His name is Sid Cherry. He's joined by his singing partner, Helen Schreier-Pandal, a vocalist in her own right who has sung in the New York City cabaret scene and at various venues across the tri-state area. The two of them are by Emily Pandal, that is Helen's daughter. She has performed in over 40 theatrical productions and events on Long Island. She is an award-winning member of the Advanced Musical Theater program at Hop Hog High School. Together they perform as the Dream Chasers. Please welcome Sid Cherry, Helen Schreier-Pandal, and Emily Pandal.
Check, check. Check. Check and check.
Yeah.
Of course I picked a rainy night to try to find our past. Street lights were flickering, the leaves were falling fast. I walked down the winding road, looked up through the trees, and I saw the corner window that you once shared with me. It was old College Avenue, and in the time of having you, I remember it as if it were today. Tiny room and the single bed, though the tangled trails of time have led us far astray, the memory seems to stay. And through all the roads that led me on, and through all the years that you've been gone, I found that it would never go away. It was old College Avenue, and in the time of having you, I remember it as if it were today. That fall turned into winter, winter into spring. And all the while led me a sweet awakening. Summer never came that year. It's what you went to find, and you took my future with you, and you left your past behind. It was old College Avenue, and in the time of having you, I remember it as if it were today. The tiny room and the bed, though the tangled trails of time have led us far astray, the memory seems to stay. And through all the roads that led me on, and through all the years that you've been gone, I have found that it would never go away. It was old College Avenue, and in the time of having you, I remember it as if it were today. I remember you as if it were today. Of course I picked a rainy night to try to find our past. Thank you.
Dream Chasers, ladies and gentlemen. We got one more song to go before Circle at the end, and it's the tradition that we always invite any local musicians that have ever been in the show or haven't been in the show but are fans of Harry's music hanging out in the audience to come up. So get ready for the last song before the finale. Sorry, I'm supposed to be over here. Well, going to bring up a friend that I've known, gosh, for 10 years or so. Rock and roll musician, folk singer, songwriter, released an album in 2008, I believe, 2008 or 2009, called Traveling Salesman. Made a huge splash on the folk scene, followed it up with an album called All in Good Time. Took a break from it for a while, but has been getting back into it. And I wanted him to play this song for two reasons. One, he's an outstanding musician, and two, because in the space of the 10 years I've known him, his daughter went from 8 years old to a college student. I'm not quite sure how that happened, and I figured it'd be appropriate. Please welcome, with Harry's biggest hit, Joe Iadanza.
Thank you. Thank y'all for coming tonight. You know I'm gonna be like you. You know I'm gonna be like you. You know I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. A child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way. There were planes to catch, bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking before I knew it. And as he grew, he said, I'm gonna be like you, Dad. You know I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know, a good time then. Well, my son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today, I got to do. He said, that's okay, and he walked away, but his smile never dimmed. He said, I'm gonna be like him, yeah, I'm gonna be like him. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. Well, he came from college just the other day. So much like a man, I just had to say, son, I'm proud of you. And you said for a while, he shook his head and he said with a smile, what I'd really like, Dad, is to borrow the car keys. See you later, can I have them, please? And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man in the moon. When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then. since retired, my son's moved away. Called him up just the other day. Said, I'd like to see you if you don't mind. I'd love to, Dad, if I could find the time. You see, the new job's a hassle and the kids got blue, but it's sure nice talking to you, Dad. It's been sure nice talking to you. And as I hung up the phone, it occurred to me, my boy was just like me. He'd grown up just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man and the moon. When you coming home, son, I don't know when, but we're together then, Dad. You know we'll have a good time then. Come on and sing it with me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man and the moon. Yeah, when you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. Yeah, we're gonna have a good time then. One more time, everybody loud. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man and the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. Yeah, you know we'll have a good time then.
Join the dancer, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring everybody out for one more song. All right. Well, we made it again. Once again, miraculously, the weather changed from what they'd forecast and gave us a beautiful night here. We've had some close calls, but it's never failed. Harry, if that's you up there, thank you. And it's been a pleasure once again. By the way, this is Josh Chapin. Some of you might remember him from doing Mr. Tanner in so many years past. If you'd happen to be back on Long Island when we do this show in future years, you know you're welcome. But everybody else, we've got people here from the Folk Society, people who did other songs, people who didn't do any songs, people who are amateur folk musicians, amateur rock musicians, semi-pros, people who just love to play. It's glad to get everybody up here for one more song. Remember Harry's mission, remember Harry's music, keep his memory alive, and sing with us one more song. Ready, everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4. All my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. Moon roses till the day comes around. All my life's a circle, I can't tell you why. Seasons spinning round again, the years keep rolling by. Seems like I've been here before, 14 times before. Can't remember when, well, sort of. But still I get this feeling that we'll all be together again. I hope there's no straight lines to make up my life. All my roads have bends, there's no clear-cut beginnings, and so far no ends. Cause all my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rose through the night time till the daybreak comes around. All my life's a circle, I can't tell you why. Seasons spinning round again, the years keep rolling by. By the way, I want to give a special shout out to the members of the Chapin family. They've all come downstairs. Tom, Sandy, Jen, Jamie, Josh, Jason. I see a pattern. They've all been here before. I appreciate their endorsement on this so much. I found you 100 times. Guess you've done the same. But then we lose each other, just like some children's game. But as I find you here again, the thought runs through my mind. Our love is like a circle. Let's go around one more time. Let's go around one more time at least. All my life's a circle. Sunrise and sundown. The moon rose through the night time, and the first till the daybreak comes around. All my life's a circle. I can't tell you why. Seasons spinning round again, the years keep going by. Please welcome up to the mic the still recuperating Frank Walker. I'll get there. Hello. Hello.
37 years have gone by since we've lost Harry. With everything he did, he left the world a better place to be. He left you feel like you were a friend with every smile that he'd exchange. And there's only one thing left to say: Harry, keep the change.
'Cause all my life's a circle, sunrise and sundown. The moon rose through the night time, till the daybreak comes around. Thank you all very much. All my life's a circle. I can't tell you why. Thank you, my co-performers. Years keep spinning round again. The years keep rolling by. Let's get the big finish now. And the years keep on rolling by. Thank you all very much. Everyone get home safe. Have a great summer.